My goodness, it's been a while, but it's a good time for an update, huh? We got some new tires and some new Recon wheels, 22.5, 7.5 inch wide. Pretty silver, but we'll talk about more of that later. So here's where we're at with this air tank business. We found out this is what it is, this XD2000 Brakemaster kit. The old tank has a little baby pinhole right there, and the integrity of it's probably compromised now. So probably could weld that up and be hillbilly about it, but I'm not going to do that. This tank wasn't that expensive, but that's what it's supposed to be. It matches up. See, we got 1, 2, 3 fittings. This one, same thing. 1, 2, and 3 fittings. Comes with a mounting kit. I need to paint all this stuff to rust proof it before we put it on, but those actually mount right up there. I've cleaned that up and sprayed it with rust primer, the area, so it's pretty well pitted, but this thing's, well, it's a rusty beast. I'm going to reuse this copper line that goes in between the two tanks. The other one's right there, and this one kind of bridges the two tanks. If this thing doesn't go on too well, because it came off pretty hard, we'll just use some regular airline. And I bought a nice new 13/16 wrench. I didn't have one put on there. This is part of the kit. Apparently this is like a air dryer kit, and this thing doesn't have an air dryer, but it has this tank, so I wonder if it had a dryer and somebody took it off. Got us some new Bluebird mud flaps used off of a bus to put on here. Well, so we got our new U-bolts. Had those for a long time. That was the easiest thing to get. These are the old plates, the U-bolt plates or whatever, and this one, as you can see, is pretty well toast and rotted right away. So these were not usable. So I went to the old junkyard and I happened to find these puppies. After I blasted them, I don't think they were quite good enough. So, actually, here I'm going to show you a picture of them. Yeah, that's how eaten away they were. And if you look at these now, I had these welded up, and I believe they're cast, so it takes special weld wire. You got to heat them up with a torch, otherwise they'll stress crack. So he put up some sort of coating on these so they wouldn't rust, but I'm still going to blast these off again. I did notice something different about these now, and I didn't notice before, is these seem like they got like a flat edge, and that could be that they're just that rotted off, or maybe they did just have more of a flat edge here, whereas these do not. So they're a little different, but I'm sure they'll work fine, and if they don't, plan B. So here's a quick interjection. I wanted to just get some new plates to put on here, but I was having a lot of trouble finding these because these have a rounded tube axle. Everything else that we have here and most stuff now uses square tubing axles, and it's just a flat plate. So I was having a lot of trouble finding something that would work. So I just went to the junkyard and I found one that I thought had good plates. After I took these off, same way I just cut the U-bolts out in the junkyard, took my little generator and electric cutoff wheel, cut those off, and I took these and I thought, oh, they'd be alright, I can use them. Well, the problem was once I got them back to, once I blasted them, because they had a lot of rust on them too, they had a lot of rot, so that's why we ended up just having these welded and didn't buy new ones. I'm sure these were cast and probably pretty cheap at one point, but it's not usually a part that wears out. It does after, 40 years, but maybe not after 10, 15, 20, the average usable span of one of these. I blasted these off. These were the spacers that went underneath the shock mounts, which I think I still got one under here. There's one I gotta fix. I think I sent those to get powder coated, which is what I'm going to do with the rest. Anyway, while we're under here, I did clean up all the rust jacking out of this spring. This side not so much. You can still see all that rust jammed right up in there. Maybe you can. These axles are kind of pitted real good right here. But I did clean all that up with clean the rust off on both sides. This side's really pitted. That has a whole lot of pitting taken out of this axle, so hopefully this axle holds up. I was kind of scared to send this to a welder. Otherwise the other thing is axle time, but it's not leaking right now. And it's held together this long, so we'll put it together and see where we go, and if it don't work, plan B. I still gotta fix this up here. It looks like it's welded right here. So I'm gonna just take a cutoff wheel and cut that off so I can take this off, and well, hillbilly machine it so it'll work again. So next step is I gotta fit those U-bolts and plates under here because I want to I'm gonna have that stuff powder coated, but you don't want to powder coat over the threads you're gonna use on the nuts because the powder coat's pretty thick. Ooh, these tires are awful. Good thing they're going bye-bye. And one more little thing I wanted to do. I saw these on another Loadstar in the junkyard, so it would normally have these emblems right here up on the hood, but we've got our number here and I'm not moving it, so I'm going to put it right here. I think that'll look pretty good. So I'm going to drill some holes. Yeah, pretty good. Just got a fastener on there.